Hi everyone, how are you feeling today? I hope you are in good health. I'm Farid bin Abdul Rahim from SMK Taman Ehsan Kepong. Today, we are going to learn about heat. Today's topic is the relation between the types of surfaces of objects to heat absorption and emission. In this lesson, you will learn dark, dull objects absorb heat better than white, shiny objects. Dark, dull objects radiate heat better than white, shiny objects. Conceptualize and design using the heat concept in daily life. Are you ready with your notebook and stationery? Let's get started. The types of surfaces and the different colors of surfaces play important roles in our daily life. This is related to our lesson today, which is about the ability of surfaces in absorbing and releasing heat. Boys and girls, black and dull surfaces will absorb and give out heat better than white and shiny surfaces. Examples of black and dull surfaces are a black jacket, a black helmet, and a black frying pan. Meanwhile, white and shiny surfaces reflect heat better than black and dull surfaces. Examples of white and shiny surfaces are a white school uniform, a white sofa, and an emergency reflective blanket. Let's look at this diagram. The diagram shows how a dark-colored and dull surface cube absorbs heat. The source of heat could be from the sun, or a fire, or any heating element. The source of heat could also be activities such as ironing clothes and cooking. Now, this diagram shows how a white and shiny surface cube reflects heat. By reflecting heat away from the cube, it will minimize the heat absorbing effect. These are examples of experiments in the science textbook page 216 to 218. It is to prove that black objects are better for absorbing heat than white objects. So, let's do the experiment. The first experiment is to prove that dark or black objects absorb heat better than white objects. Set up the apparatus as shown in the diagram by placing both cans as close as possible to the Bunsen burner. The empty cans are painted, one in white and the other in black, and label it as J and K. Record the initial temperature of the air inside each can and light up the Bunsen burner. Observe and record the final temperature of each can after 10 minutes. Since we are using a Bunsen burner in this experiment, safety measures must be taken. Number 1. Make sure the ventilation of the lab is good by opening the windows and doors. Number 2. Take away any flammable or combustible materials from the Bunsen burner. Number 3. Do not light up the Bunsen burner between the milk can because the space is too tight. Move the Bunsen burner out and then light it up. Lit a matchstick and place it on top of the nozzle. Then, twist the black valve and allow the gas to be released. Adjust the ring below the nozzle to let in more air and the black valve and allow the gas to be released. Adjust the ring below the nozzle to let in more air and the flame turns into blue. Back between the milk can. After 10 minutes, put out the flame of the Bunsen burner. Observe and record the final temperature of both cans. Calculate the differences in temperature. So, which can absorb more heat? Yes, the answer is can K. It proves that black color absorbs heat better than white color. So, dark and dull objects are good heat absorbers and white and shiny surfaces are good heat reflectors. Our second experiment is to find a good heat radiator. This experiment is to prove that dark-colored objects are better for radiating heat away than white-colored objects. This diagram shows both cans are filled with hot water and covered with an iron plate. The source of heat is from within. So, let's do this experiment. We need to use 2 empty cans, one painted in white and the other in black. We need to fill both cans with 325 milliliter of hot water. Try not to spill the hot water. We need to observe and record the initial temperature of the water inside each can. Then let it be for 10 minutes. Observe and record the final temperature after 10 minutes. Calculate the differences in temperature. So, which can radiate more heat? Yes, it's can K. It has the highest temperature difference. As you can see, after 10 minutes, the temperature in can K will decrease more than in J. This is because the outer layer of the can is painted black. So, dark and dull objects are good heat radiators compared to white and shiny objects. I have one question for you to answer. Are you ready? What method of heat flow causes the can to lose heat? Radiation. The answer is correct. Good job, guys. This is a simple diagram showing how heat can be easily radiated away in all directions in dark-colored and dull surface objects. When the heat radiates away to the environment, the temperature inside will slowly go down. Now, this is a simple diagram showing how heat is reflected within a white and shiny surface object. When the heat is reflected and trapped inside the object, temperature will maintain stable for a longer period of time. Moving on with our lesson today is the application of different types of surface and color in our daily life. The diagram shows an oil tanker with a shiny tank. The shiny surface of the oil tanker will reflect most of the heat and help in reducing heat absorption on a sunny day. By reducing heat absorption, it can minimize temperature increase inside the tank. Since white will reflect most of the heat, we can see it is being applied to our school uniform. Malaysia receives 12 hours continuous daylight. So, choosing white as the color of our school uniform is a perfect choice. Next is the automobile radiator. It is an important part that keeps the engine operating at a moderate temperature. The black surface of a car radiator helps to release heat created from the engine combustion chamber. Without the radiator, a car engine can overheat easily. Most buildings are built with a lot of glass windows. In the diagram, almost 90% of the structure itself is covered with glass windows. During a hot sunny day, the building will reflect most of the heat from sunlight and keep the temperature inside the building lower than the temperature on the outside. This is a thermos flask and a teapot. Both have a shiny and white interior. The shiny surface inside the vacuum flask and teapot helps to keep the heat inside the container for a bit longer. Takeaway food containers are made of styrofoam. They have many different sizes and shapes for specific uses. What they have in common is the color white. The white surface inside and outside of the styrofoam container helps to keep the heat inside the container by reflecting it. It is the perfect storage container for insulating hot or cold stuff. Heat concept in our daily life. Boys and girls, convection of air helps in creating a cooling effect inside a building. When this happens, hot air will rise and exit through the air vents near the roof or ceiling or through a ventilating fan. Cold air will then enter the building through the doors or windows. Convection of air will continue until an equilibrium is reached. Air conditioners are used to create a cold environment inside a room during a hot sunny day. Fans will increase the air convection and cools the room faster. Applying a soft tone or white exterior paint will help to reflect most of the heat and keep the interior of the building at a suitable temperature. Using light-colored ceramic roofing tiles will also help to reflect most of the heat away, leaving the interior of the building at a low temperature. Planting trees at the east and west corner of a building will help create a cooling effect because of the shade created by the tree. Now, pupils, after we have discussed and understood the concept of heat, we can apply it to create a green building that is energy efficient by using renewable energy such as solar energy and wind energy, with good air circulation and water flow, and built from recycled materials. The diagram shows a greenhouse with a lot of improvement being applied to achieve the green concept. Look at the solar panel being positioned on top of the roof to capture the sunlight. The solar energy will be converted into electrical energy and stored in a battery. It will light up light bulbs or spotlight inside and outside of the house. Some solar panels are being used to heat water for bathing purposes. Trees are planted at east and west of the house to avoid direct sunlight towards the house. It will shade it during the sunrise and sunset. Take a look at the number of windows and size of the windows. By opening the windows, it allows convection of air to happen inside the house. Cool air goes in and hot air goes out. You can see a barrel is being used to collect rainwater. The water collected can be used to water plants and be used whenever there is a shortage of water. A green building or green building concept is not just a lot of plants around. It is the application of technology and science to achieve a better living. Well, boys and girls, it looks like we have come to the end of our lesson. These questions will help you to recall our previous slides. The first question is, what is the benefit of wearing bright colored clothing in hot weather? The answer is, bright colored clothing will reduce heat absorption by reflecting most of the heat that comes from sunlight. Next question. How does a thermos flask maintain the temperature of hot water? The answer is, the wall of a thermos flask has a shiny surface that helps to reflect heat. It also has a double-layered wall which traps air between it, creating an insulator. This helps to preserve the heat. That's all for today, boys and girls. Until we meet again. Bye-bye.